Hey peeps, Pinkolol16 here on another video of my own to commentate over. We're commentating over part 2 of Super Mario 64, the Curse of the Invincibility Frames. COIF as its official abbreviation. This was the part where I began to actually use a legitimate intro for the series, whereas I just wanted to start differently the first time, so I want a part 2 to like actually kickstart the series' adventure off, so yeah, here's the intro. You'll see it one more time before the Star World one happens. Every arc has a different intro, and I'll release them all on my channel eventually. The only one that doesn't have the raw version is Arc 5's one, but nobody really cares about that one. And consequently, no one will care about 6's, but 6 will have it raw because I've had it for like an entire year, so... And for some reason, it likes to change my quality to that of crud. It actually took me a while to find Invincibility frames triggering things for this particular intro, I think. So I had to actually use different ones than my actual original plan. That's actually meant to be blue, but it didn't allow me to show it, so I showed him in the very next scene to compromise. And it loops because I didn't have enough time and I thought, nobody's gonna notice. Also, that's pretty much a goof because you wouldn't collect one red coin and have the 100 coin star show up. But hey, I needed the code to properly work for this particular intro, so hey. And it actually took me a long time to find a coin, so I was like, oh, I'll just use the red coin anyway. So he basically is feeling almost like he's choking, basically, right now. The energy right now is in the level, and it's basically choking him. Well, not choking, he can still breathe, but he's like, he can't really escape, and that's the feeling that he has right now. It's basically compression. He's feeling like he's in between two massive walls, and they're just, like, pushing on him. That kind of thing, because the energy is already gone inside him. I think of the invincibility frames as like, oh, you've simply gone invisible for a period of time, so now the energy is just there and it's compressing your entire body for some reason. That was the guy who sold the star last part. The whole point of Jinder running away, oh, I have no luck finding a star in this place, is because he took the star beforehand. I'm later going to incorporate a story where he and Akin originally met beforehand, which you'll see later in this video. But Jinder has no idea who he is. Again, with the inter-between cuts, I don't do that anymore. I like to imagine that they have like more than one entranceway to the same place. Like the portal painting is just one way to Cool Cool Mountain, and there's like several other ways to get to Cool Cool Mountain. Through like wormholes or something. So I don't want to just think, oh yeah, Wing Jar, which is this guy, just randomly walked through the castle and jumped through the painting. No, he went through some other way. I don't know their actual enemy names. I didn't at the time, and I don't think I still do, because they're not very memorable. See, see, the stars are seen as an escape mechanism. You get out using the stars. But with them trapped, they can't get out using the stars. They have to find some other way, which is used by triggering the 100 coin star, and then they can get the energy all out of the way. But little do they know that that's actually helping the enemies as well. That was the worst movement I've ever had to do for Super Mario 64 Machinima Making, because it's completely facing the wrong way. What I wanted to happen was Mario jumping, like, facing me, but I completely moved the keyboard in the complete wrong direction, and there you have the scene. So that was the worst filming on my part. So what Mario's describing is that because I'm part of the my character is part of the YTR, he was surprised to not see me or anybody else inside when they came back, because normally in the SM64 world, in this place as it would be, the castle tends to be a home or something where someone is there. But for some reason, nobody's there. And when they came back, nobody came for them. So they're just weirdly concerned about the fact there's nobody inside. And because I'm not there at all, they're like, oh, we're so relieved to see you because nobody's in there. And we're relieved to see one YTR member. At least somebody in this place is still around. I literally shoehorned this bit in because I forgot to include it in the previous script. So hey, here it is now. I also needed to include it after the purple fog incident from part 1. So yes, it is real, and now we're concerned about it. What are we going to do? We have absolutely no idea until what happens in 2 seconds literally happens. Mario's basically saying, oh, but if they could, if something happened to them, they could easily get out by teleportation stars, but maybe that's the problem, because I would have seen them already. The fact is, there's nobody. The whole place is completely abandoned inside. None of them are around. So Mario is concerned, because usually there would be somebody in there. It's not just like some haunted mansion, which is actually the music playing, which makes it even more spookier. So Alberto actually found somebody, but there's like 2 people in there. Thanks to Brandon for that portal effect. I just recolored it to make it fit the energy, to make it fit Vindimka a bit more, but Thanks to Brandon for that effect, but I don't think he'll care anymore because none of them really care about this anymore. I wanted to give a flaw to Vindimka, which is his name, the green one. I wanted to give a flaw to, oh, we're gonna travel to the Star World. Oh wait, no, we're gonna travel right to where the heroes are in a complete mistake. So, and he just accepts it, like, why not? You'll see it. Complete mistake, and it just makes them feel a bit more like, oh, they're people too, they make mistakes, haha, it's funny, haha. So yeah, it was on purpose that they were meant to come here. So he's like, oh, I didn't want to come here, but then in 2 seconds he's like, oh, I'm gonna accept this mistake and I'm gonna make sure I can work my way around it. Vindimka will properly settle this situation right now. Since I had no idea where the hell the rest of the scene was going to go, I decided to teleport them here because, hey, the story needs to progress a bit and I need to show a bit of his true nature. And most people will criticize me for the scene saying, why did you even do this? Why did you even tell them most of this stuff? But this scene was very carefully worded. Very carefully worded, as much as myself at 16 could do. Again, this is another case of this particular arrangement of the angle of me not having, in fact, the very existence of Super Mario Maker being completely not even existent. I imagined myself would be behind the tree where Mario's talking right now, so I had to get creative with angles. In reality, I'm probably like around here, but I can't actually show that because this is the days of Super Mario 64 when masking was either done through green screen or done when two characters are standing in a scene together. Not when the characters have the head moving. It was the worst time ever. Well, that's the name of the body, but not the name of the actual character inside, which you'll hear and see at the very end in part 16. His actual name is Elven Door, which will make sense later on. They're technically the same energy. To be like me, which means something in relation to part 16's script. Vindimka's actually being possessed. So essentially, everyone will be trapped like Vindimka's being trapped. And also in terms of a certain other way, in terms of trapped, which means something else to the story, which ties into Blue's bit. I had a lot of freedom because Blue's backstory could technically be attributed to anything, and, well, I left it to be what it is. This bit I have to pause for. Whoever traps themselves from foolishness by it be hitting something that causes your protection invincibility frames to strike will be stuck in the level until another who hasn't needed protection, until another who hasn't hit invincibility frames will rescue them. Now the people criticize me for the scene saying, why the hell is Vindimka telling them his plan? That's the most idiotic thing ever, because most villain stories, when the villain tells the heroes their plan, they end up knowing the plan and end up succeeding. But this is part of Vindimka's plan. He needs to taunt them to say, "Oh, you're actually helping yourselves, but they're actually helping him as well in a certain way, which ties into the stars, which ties into the whole point as to why he's even doing this." So, in reality, he's telling them like 70% of the plan, but he's also telling them the part of the plan that's helping himself. So, this scene was very carefully worded so as he wouldn't tell them, "Oh yeah, you're actually helping me because of it. You're actually, this is how you save yourselves," but he's also using that to his advantage, in a sense. So yes, he's basically playing us all for fools right now, and again, Mario's like in front of me, which I had to be creative with angles again. So I'm basically staring at him like, "Oh, you're basically telling us your plan, you idiot." But I'm actually being, well, my character is being played, and everyone here is basically being played for a fool, because Vindimka is not telling us the real side of the plan, which is we're rescuing others, but we're also, by rescuing the others, we're also helping him as well. So, yeah, helping him, you know, put everyone under pressure. It's not like they have like ridiculous shields or anything. The energy beams are the only thing I can think of, but most of them tend to use them as like lasers or something like that. So the only protection I could make the characters think of was invincibility frames, because there's nothing else in the world for them to be protected by. Stars? Don't think that matters, because again, the stars don't mean anything because everyone else is still trapped in the levels with the stars there. So it's not the stars that are the protection. And a form of protection they use, the only protection that they ever use, is invincibility frames. And I had to remind everyone that teleportation stars only take one person at a time, so that nobody looked at the last part with ridiculous circumstances as, why couldn't you take Jinder with you when you use the teleportation star? Because the teleportation star can only take one person at a time. So that's why Jinder couldn't go with my character when he was inside the level. So I needed to remind everybody that that's not how you free them, that's not what happens. And unless one harnesses their power, well, that's referencing Starman Theory later in the series. Because I thought it would be a good idea for him being tapped into the stars and all that crud to actually be relevant to have the teleportation radius effect over a wide distance. Considering I already used it in the Half Halloween special, I also wanted it to incorporate it as an actual ability of his, so I decided to give it to him. It's not overpowered because it's only over a certain radius. It's not the entire darn room or entire universe, it's just a small radius. But it's just an ability, and it's just a thing he has, along with like the elemental stars, and that's it for the series. I don't think I gave him like all those superpowers he had in his own series. This is my series, you know it's my series when I don't give a character too much. He's lying here, he does know the way how, but it's exactly his means of getting the energy, and he wants us to be smart to actually figure it out. He wants to test our abilities so that we can actually, can we fulfill his plan, and if we do, he'll run off and start the next part of his plan, which will continue to escalate further and further while we don't know anything. This was a very early, and was basically scrapped very early on, part of the series. I wanted to incorporate Bowser fights into the series, but it took the longest time ever to film the scenes, and I thought, this does not relate to the plot, so I used it once in this bit and never again, because it doesn't relate to the rest of the series, and it's a flaw that is very apparent with the series, and I'm not fond of it. So this is just the most scrap part of the series, and I don't like it. So this line is practically worthless because they only sent like 3 robots after us. And I called the Bowser fights Bowser bots because Bowser's model makes him look robotic, honestly. And I thought, oh, you could pass it off as being a robot. Because it really does not look like Bowser. Look at those cheeks. And Vin's not wrong. Don't think he isn't wrong. He isn't wrong. It will basically come to the brink at the very end of the series. And he is playing all of us right now. And by here, he means he's staying in the general castle area where the northern hemisphere weather tends to stay normal, so yeah. The reason why the castle, outside castle, and technically the Bowser areas aren't being affected is because those places don't have 100 coin stars, which is the whole point of the series and the plot. So safe areas that don't happen to spawn a 100 coin star are places that won't be affected by the energy, and even if you got invincibility frames there, they wouldn't actually hurt until, you know, the energy would be released later on, which was part of the series, so no, nothing's happened yet. Nothing here is gonna affect them yet, and it's not gonna affect them yet. And I say yet because it's important later on. It would have been important later on anyway. Did I tell Akin it wasn't going to be a long time? I think I did, and I think I did either off screen or it was a script line beforehand, and yeah, that's part of the thing I meant to go back. I also tend to use a lot of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon music in this series too. Okay, that was actually a very long recording, that howl, but I happened to just walk up and then it zoomed in, so I was like, oh god, I don't want to do that. I don't want to show the zooming in, because I hate when it shows someone zooming in. So I decided, oh yeah, I'm going to have that last 2 seconds show where I actually have the howl. The script actually said my character should run up, but, well, I sort of just teleported up anyway, so it sort of counts, but it's weird. Again saw Jinder pop out off screen, essentially. Again, I had to get extremely creative with angles, and I thought, hey, Wing Jukulja, which is the guy who just said hi, is behind Akin, and Jinder's like literally here. Again, I had to get really creative with angles because Mario Movie Maker is not even Mario, because the freeze camera code is a jerk, and I didn't have Mario Movie Maker yet. In fact, nobody knew it was going to get, it was even going to come back. People thought they were going to have to use a freeze camera code forever. I plan to make a story eventually that will touch on Akin's origins with WJJ, so yeah. I tended to make all these really weird color codes that look nice, but I didn't know what names to give them. I wanted to give them sort of names that were sort of like usernames, but they didn't sort of work out. And why is he winged? Well, his color code works better when you put the wing cap on him, but I thought that's not going to work for this series yet, so. Well, he's not telling us because he doesn't want us to know the whole thing. He wants to see, are we capable enough to actually figure out how to foil his plan, in quotes, but then actually help him. So basically, what's supposed to happen is they collect the 100 coin star, which absorbs the energy from what they got from the invincibility frames, and then the energy's gone from the area, which means they can get invincibility frames as much as they like afterwards, and then they can get teleportation stars. So like basically the area reverts to normal. But what they don't know is that going into the star, actually, like the energy going into the 100 coin star, actually, the energy going into it actually helps Vindimka afterwards, which is the unexplained bit. He heard noise outside, so he was like, oh yeah, this is interesting. That's important. Keep that in mind. Blue's basically saying, oh, I only knew about the name. For some reason. Hint, 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 hint. Clear them out of the energy before anybody else gets trapped by wandering into them, because if Winged Jukuljuk can come from some random wormhole and then get trapped in there for no reason, who knows who else could get in there and get trapped. The thing I failed to explain is the fact that I don't even explain the actual thing. Collecting the 100 coin star is the thing that removes the energy, so... yeah. Akin's supposed to be the joke character, and he's supposed to get serious when it's supposed to get serious. So Akin's sort of serious now, but he named it a stupidly weird name, and I'm gonna drop it like 3 parts later. Jinder's not gonna help because he's scared. And again, I had to get really creative with angles. I suck at this. Well, it wasn't exactly my fault, and it didn't come out yet. we didn't even know it was. Let's get started as the video ends, which is kind of like supposed to be this big important moment. So anyway, see you all, have a good day, peace, and I'll see you in part 3.